Well, good evening, everybody. Everybody is Scott and Steve. Nice to see you here.
Hey, George.
Good to be here.
Yeah, you have a good week, gentlemen. Uh,
Yeah.
I know about your week, Scott, but
Yeah.
yeah, Steve, good week.
Yeah, not too bad. So counting down until holidays in a couple weeks.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
number 6. Okay. Yeah. So I've got. Oh, it's busy on YouTube. We've got a few people coming in, and that's nice.
Oh,
Good. Nice to see you here. Thank you very much for coming. And tonight, not sure how many people are coming in. I'm never sure about that, but I've broadcast this both on my Facebook page as well as on my Instagram page this time. So we're broadcasting not only to YouTube, but we're also broadcasting to um, Facebook. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who we have here. Although I'm not looking at Facebook, but here we go. David's here. Fantastic, David. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, David.
Hi, George.
Good evening. How's everything
Good
going
evening.
with you?
Good, thank you. Yeah, pretty good. Back from holidays, so that was quite quite an experience.
It was. It was a good experience, I hope.
Oh yeah, it was. It's an amazing place. It was very rural, and basic, but some of these villages, fishing villages, they've got
Yeah.
like 100 people as residents. It's quite amazing.
And I'm sorry, where were you?
Newfoundland.
Oh, Newfoundland. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we started off at Deer Lake, and then it was a bus tour, 9 days,
Yeah.
and ended up in St. John's. So it's quite good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how many places did you end up hitting?
Um, about five or six. It was some of them were just like, as I say, just a small village,
Yeah.
but two of them had breweries. It was quite amazing.
Yeah. Well, that I think that's a big necessity there.
Yeah, out there. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Um, anyway, let's see. We might as well get started, and anybody else who comes in, they can do catch up, and or they can have a look at it later. But anyway, the important thing here is that next in September, we've on the 16th, we've got Lisa Connor coming in, talking about her macro photography. And so that should be pretty interesting. I know that you guys are into macro photography, so uh, you know, I know that you'll have something to contribute there, most definitely. And tonight we're going to start off with my little hint here, and it's going to have to do with file naming. And this is something that I don't think very many photographers really take advantage of. But I know that back in the day when I had the studio and we had several photographers sometimes on an event, that was really something that was very beneficial to our editing later on. So let's see. I think we'll just start off right here with our weekly hint number 6. Amazing. We're really getting there. Customizing file names for cameras. So let's get started. I think the first question is, why change file names to begin with? Let me just get started here. So why change file names? To identify which camera the file came from. That's one reason to change file names, and that was a big one for us. The second one would be to identify the customer. Sometimes, I've got this out of sequence, I think, a little bit. So to identify the camera, which camera it came from, to personalize the shot, who the photographer is, and let's see, third, to identify the job the shoot is for. I think that's an important one because that really helped on sorting some things out later on when particularly if it was a single camera shoot, it kind of helped when we were looking at the files and all the different files and folders we had. This probably wasn't a big priority, but the other two were. Who the photographer was, you could identify that, especially if you're using several cameras. Okay, now let's see here. I'm dealing with a new program here, so it's a little bit weird for me right now. Now, we're going to talk about changing the 3-letter prefix on the Nikon. And the first thing you would do is open the menu on your Nikon camera. Navigate to the photo shooting menu. Select file naming. And then press the multi-selector button and delete and edit the existing 3 characters. The default is DSC. Then you enter your new 3-letter number custom code or press OK or select Save and Done, depends on what your menu says. There are a couple of things to keep in mind. The 3-character limit. You may change the first 3 letters on the file name. For example, changing DSC underscore 001 to ABC underscore 001. The other thing to keep in mind is that color space will have an impact on this name. If your color space is set to Adobe RGB, Nikon automatically places an underscore before or after the prefix. For example, ABC, that's underscore ABC 001 or ABC underscore 001, for example. Now, changing file names on a Canon camera. Now, I don't own a Canon, so this is something that I did own a Canon camera way back, so I'm just sort of relying on memory and some of the things that I looked up in the instruction manual. So on the Canon, you open the camera menu and find the setup or the wrench icon in your menu on that tab. Then, after you've done that, you select File Name. On some hybrid cine models, you have to choose either stills or movies first. Choose and change user setting 1 for a custom 4-character prefix, or change user setting 2 for a 3-character prefix plus an automatic size indicator. Then type your preferred letters or numbers using the multi-control or dials, then press the Set Enter button. Then select your newly created user setting to activate it for all upcoming captures. So what I'm going to recommend that you do, at least now you know some of the steps and where to start looking for how to change your file names. By all means, get into your instruction manual, find out where it is. Now you know the sequence and you're good to go. If there are any questions, feel free to say something here. I see that Jocelyn's here. Let me just... Hi, Jocelyn. Say hello to everybody. And everybody, say hello to Jocelyn. And Anka's here today, too. Welcome, Anka. I'm glad you're here. You're becoming one of our faithful members of this chat. It's nice to have you here. Okay, let's see. Where am I going here? There, got me back. All right. So we still have, let's see, people we have here. Yeah, we've got 3 people, 4 including me, and we've got 5 people on YouTube. Wonderful. I have no idea who we've got on Facebook, but I'm sure there's a couple of people there too. Anyway, I hope that that little thing about changing the camera file names comes in handy for you, because it sure came in handy for me. Right now on my Nikon, I have for a file name JT1, so George Takis 1, so that I can recognize, because I do get files from students and files from other people who want some sort of a critique on their photographs. So they're usually DSCs, but just so I know which ones are mine, because mine would be DSC too, I have renamed my files that the camera generates to JT1. So all of the JT1s are going to be from my camera. So there's no confusion about, geez, which are these my pictures or somebody else's pictures? And you can batch rename them later on, but I find that batch renaming to JT1 on the computer is just more time consuming. I have the camera generate that name. I don't know about the rest of you guys if you do that at all, but it's a good idea. And if you have 2 cameras and you're shooting with 2 cameras, have a different number for each camera. Designate it somehow that that's a different camera. And for example, if you've got a Nikon and a Canon, then you can designate it as your initials plus C or your initials plus N. So that might help you if you've got 2 cameras. Any questions?
Nope.
Any comments on those? 9. Okay, well, Anka says here, do you keep desiccant packages in your camera bag or storage containers? Or actually, so what type? I've had good luck with packages I bought online on Amazon. Um, I don't know. There are two lines of thought with desiccant packages. When you store your cameras, yeah, it's probably a good idea to put that in because the desiccant packages will keep the moisture down when it's stored and boxed. On the other hand, if your desiccant packages are in your camera bag and you're opening your camera bag in the summer when it's humid, it'll start taking on moisture. Then what happens or could happen is your desiccant packages become a source of moisture because they become saturated. So I don't know if anybody has had any experience with desiccants, but if you have, you can chime in now. Anybody?
No.
I have them in and around my stuff. Like I store all my cameras down in the basement, and I have different drawers for different things, and I've got a whole ton of desiccant packages from anything I get with one I keep, and I just have them in there, so they're always being kept dry if there's any moisture or anything. And the house is air conditioned and that kind of stuff, so the air in the house is on the dry side, anyways.
Okay.
So if they get moisture from outside, then when they come inside, they go in the drawer. And I also keep some in the camera bag, but not too often. But I do, depending on where I am and what I'm doing. But yeah, generally, I think you can use them. I've never tried rechargeable ones or ones you put in the oven to heat up and dry out or anything like that. I got them from when I was working, and big computer components would come in, and you get the nice big ones, the 3x3s or 4x4
Right.
inch packs in the servers and that kind of stuff. The IT guy knew I wanted them, so he would hold on to them and give them to me and that kind of stuff. So I just scrounged them. So yeah, it's a
Okay.
good
So
idea.
you never found any of them got damp.
No,
Okay.
no,
So there
because they're in
wasn't
that
enough
they're in that
moisture.
like permeable material. I don't even know what it is. It looks like paper, but it's not really paper. The air can get
Yeah.
through it. But I've never ever had a problem with them. I think it's a good
Okay.
idea, but I've never had a problem. Yeah,
All right.
my
Anybody
two
else had
cents.
any experience with the desiccants? Okay. Well, thanks for that little bit of information as far as file names are concerned. Fantastic. Okay, well, I hope, Anka, that kind of helped you. Oh, they would actually feel damp. Now, I have to admit, I've never had that happen, but that's a caution that I've seen out there. And I think that caution is more for, believe it or not, your aspirin bottles that come and they have a little desiccant package in there. They recommend you take it out once you open the bottle and not keep it in the bottle. So I'm not sure that applies to cameras necessarily, but yeah. Okay, now I guess my question now comes to: does anybody have any images to share this evening?
I've been out shooting a lot last week. I was out at the Walton Raceway again this year on Sunday, all day on Sunday.
Okay,
Motocross.
do you
I
have
shot
some shots?
7,000
Yeah, we
images.
don't have time for
But
that.
no, I didn't think I was shooting that much. But then I got home and I go, oh my God, 6,800 something,
Yeah,
and I
that's the way
culled
we
them all. Well,
go.
yeah, it's a game of numbers, right?
Yeah.
Like most of them are semi in focus, but there's just so much crap in the background and everything else that. But they turned out nice. I'm happy with them. But if anybody's interested in seeing those, I shot that. I shot some water skiing.
Well,
and
most
some
interested right now. I'd love to see those
slow pitch.
motocross shots, or a few of them that you have
Yeah,
picked out
okay,
as
let
being
me,
your best ones.
am I able to share?
Yes.
Okay, let's share, see where I am. Okay. You don't want to see that folder. That's got that's got a couple hundred. But
Yeah. If you
I
can give
can,
us some solid full size ones, that would be great.
yeah. One of the problems, you have, and it's the same as shooting rodeo or anything else, is the backgrounds. Um, like this back here is some banners and buses and campers and chairs, and there's people and everything else. And I try to get rid of as much as I can. Actually, I should be opening this up in Lightroom. Hang on. What folder am I on? 1 second here.
No problem.
This folder here. It's just easier to go side by side. You can kind of go through them and talk at the same time. And the stuff in the background. And you can try and get rid of it as much as you can. And I've gotten rid of it and filled in some of the top corners with the bald sky. But you do the best you can, right? There's just so much stuff in the background. Like this is a great shot, but it blends in somewhat with the white vehicles in the back. And you can try and take them out. You can isolate the subject and work on the background, but chances are it's going to look like it was worked on.
Okay,
Right?
I have a question at this point,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you know what that question is going to be. Can AI take care of
Um,
the background?
oh, I don't know. I don't have anything to do with AI. All the stuff I do, it has a potential to go in a competition,
Yes.
and you can't use AI in any of that stuff. So I
Okay.
don't even have it. I don't even have it activated in my. You know, if you want to try and use it, the first thing they do, well, you have to go in the settings and activate it or whatever. I don't. Right. For that reason, it might be able to. There might be settings remove. The remove is very powerful in Photoshop, especially if it does all the thinking. Some of these there's nothing to remove. Like this was nothing, but just outside the frame on this side, on the left-hand side, was a bulldozer. Right. So, but
Okay. So the question that we have on YouTube is, what camera are you using and lens?
this is a Z8 with a Tamron 50 to 400. And that's on full sensor. If you crop it, it becomes a 100 to 600. But generally, you can get close enough on that track that you don't need to use the crop sensor on it. Now these are cropped in too afterwards. Like I shoot wide, you have to, because stuff's going on and you might not get the framing right because they're flying by, right?
Right.
So you're kind of they're shot nice and loose, and you crop in, and see, like, we got a tractor and a bobcat back there, but you got her eyes are showing on this one. It might be her, I'm not sure. And they're just coming at you. So the action's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
I
it
was
looks like
very
it.
impressed with the young ladies. The age group is limited in motorcycle size. I don't know much about it. I just know that like this is probably 12 or 13 and under, and
Whoa.
they're um they're limited to a 250.
Right.
Um so I was shooting them, and then I wasn't paying that close attention to the details, and then obviously it's a young lady with the hair going down her back, and it just adds a really interesting point of view from the whole thing, right? And
Yeah.
talking about, there was another Husqvarna banner that came right just overhead here. So I cloned all the grass out to make it. This one's much more difficult to get rid of. and I'm okay with that because
Yeah.
she matches the background.
Oh, that's a good
So she,
catch.
yeah, she's got the I don't know if it's the ponytail or the braid
Yeah.
coming out the back, you know. And there's a guy sitting at this tree, and there's another guy over at this tree, and their spotters have bright orange shirts on, and then there's some media people that had bright red shirts on, so they're all over the place, all over the course. But you know, some of them their feet are off the pegs by 6 or 7 inches, and they're just hanging on with their hands, like nothing else is touching the bike. It's pretty, like, there you go. His rear ends or her rear ends off, and her feet are off the pegs, right? Um, so yeah, it's this one is one of my favorites. Just the angle, the look, you can see right in. That's natural. I didn't like go in and burn in her eyes. Um, and I just like the angle of the whole thing. The blonde hair sticking out the back. I just thought it was hilarious. And trying to pan. This is you guys are in the way. What's the shutter speed here? An 80th of a second, and they're flying like they're on a straightaway. They're going. So trying to get a smooth pan or a pan where at least the head and shoulders are sharp is pretty tough, right? Because they're
Well,
going through the
it's a
bumps.
yeah, I can see how that could be a tough pan simply because not only are they going laterally, but they're going there are bumps in that thing.
Yeah, up and down, and
Yeah.
they're since it's a race, they're either, if they're coming off a ramp, they're speeding up, or if they're going into a turn, they're slowing down. It's not like shooting bicycles at a triathlon where it's a constant speed through your field of view. They're speeding up or they're slowing down so they don't wipe out on the corner. So yeah, like that. That's, you can see every nut and bolt on the bike and right up the arms and everything. You can read all the paint.
So the question here is: are you shooting? Are you panning when you shoot handheld?
Yeah, I don't even bring my tripod with me. Yeah, it's all handheld. Yeah, and you're going to the point of,
Yeah.
you got to stop so you don't get dizzy, fall over, because it's just one right after the other. These races might have 15 or 20 people in them, and they do 10 or 15 laps. By the time they do their laps, you know, halfway through the race, they're spread out and they're coming by continuous timing. It's a great place to shoot. Um, and you can get some really nice stuff. The lighting was nice. It was overcast, so the neon colors like this just like explode, right?
Yeah.
They just really pop without too much effort. Like I'm not playing with saturation or anything on this. I'm more curious about the backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. And there's the two of them going kind of through the woods, but they're moving pretty good too there. But some of the ruts, like halfway up to the axle, right?
Yeah.
They're really going.
Well, that's a good pan.
Yeah, that's a good one there. A little slower there. What am I at here? 1/50th of a second, which would be
Yeah.
about the bottom end of that I would even try, because the last one was 320th of a second, right? Just getting a little blur.
Yeah.
And this one, she's just hanging on. That's an 800th of a second is pretty much will freeze.
Yes.
But you can see her eyes are closed. She's hoping she lands and makes it, right? And a couple coming over, they're just covered. They just have dirt everywhere.
Yeah.
But they love it, right? That's their thing. You know, it's a double pan. I was following this guy, and this one was kind of overtaking, but that wheel's off the ground, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're coming up to overtake. So and everything is sponsored and signage everywhere, and yeah, it
Well,
makes for
yeah, I don't
tough, right?
yeah, I don't mind the signage because that's really part of the atmosphere on that thing.
Oh,
Whereas,
yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes it's a little overwhelming. Like I can deal with this and tolerate this a lot more than a bulldozer,
Oh, yeah,
right?
exactly. Or tents or camping trailers.
Camping trailers and like a guy sitting there, right? Like it just, yeah, it just one of those things. So you have your choice. Like I like to pick a shutter speed where I get the tires still spinning, right? To imply even more motion. You know the guy's moving, obviously,
Yeah.
but to me, I like having the tires spin as opposed to you can up your shutter speed. That's 100th of a second. You can go to like 800 or 1,000th of a second, and you see every knob on the tire. But then that's not the look I'm going for, right? I like to have some sort of movement there. Even if a bicycle,
Yeah.
you want the feet moving a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So that's all from
Jeff
there.
Jeff was just saying that he finds that these are awesome photos.
Oh,
I
thank you,
think it.
Jeff.
I think it's Jeff. That's correct me if I'm wrong. For this side towards screen, I think his name is Jeff.
Yeah, I can, just so you have a reference.
Now, while you're searching for something, let me ask
Like
you.
there was, so that's kind of the way it would be shot
Yeah,
compared to the end result. So you're shooting that wide, but you're cutting in and cropping in tighter, right?
yeah.
There's the difference of trying to get rid of the sign. That
Well,
kind of
Anka
stuff
just
that gets in
said
the background. Yeah.
she finds these are excellent photos.
Oh, thank you,
And
Anka.
Anka's a wildlife photographer, so this is a different kind of wildlife, I guess.
Very different. Like I'm close up nature. That's kind of my shtick, right? That's my thing.
Yeah,
It's 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 a whole other animal. Like
yeah.
not even close, right? Um, that's what I like about it. We had outings through Camera Club last summer to a couple of different places, and I went and I'm like, wow, this is a lot of fun, right? And I go to the well and flat track, but you're kind of stuck in one position. Everybody's turning. You only can shoot one to one corner, so everybody's pictures are all very similar. They're fun and they're really good pictures, but it's not as exciting as motocross, that's for sure. But this is also much louder and much dustier, and so yeah, drawbacks, right?
Yep, exactly. Okay. Well, appreciate that, Scott. That's fantastic. Nice to
Uh,
see the work that you're doing, and I'm impressed. I'll tell you that.
it was an all day event. Like we left here at 7 in the morning, and we're back at seven and change at night. You're gone the whole day. You're exhausted by the time you're home. Whew. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. Okay. Now, one of those, I was going to ask, one of those races, just from beginning to end, how long do they usually last?
Oh, that's a good question because it depends on the class.
Okay.
Like that's the 250s you saw most of, and then when the 450s go, they go for even longer, and that's the older teenagers, and um, like you don't see guys our age doing it. All
Yeah.
right, this is a young person's game. Like you see people up to about 18 or 20 doing it, right, and then they become coaches and fathers coaching their little kids and that kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, the older ones they can tolerate it more. With it's quite physical holding the bike in place
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
everything else, and they might be 18 laps or something like that, and I'm only taking a guess, but I know they're longer races, so the race in total might be close to half an hour,
Right.
right, for one race for the bigger bikes, and it might be more like 15-20 minutes for the smaller bikes. um, but like I said, partway through the race they start spreading out,
Yeah.
right? So as you're shooting, the you have them on a regular basis. It's not like they go by in one crowd. Like you see the bike races, the what is it, the French Open or whatever it is? No, not the
Yeah.
French Open. The bike race, and the pelotons go by and 100 bikes go by. No, they spread out, and then it's they're coming regular, right? So because each man for themselves, each person for themselves on the race. It's pretty interesting. you know. If you
Okay.
haven't tried it, everybody should at least try it once, right? If you're
Uh,
not far from
you're
something.
talking about trying the photography, not the writing.
Oh, no, you couldn't pay me to get on one of those things. No way. No, zero interest whatsoever, ever. I've never had any interest in motorcycle riding or anything like that. But the photography, I'll shoot anything, but you should at least try and you'd be surprised at what you might like if you're used to one thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm used
Yeah.
to butterflies and dragonflies, and then you go shoot
Right.
motorcycles. Well, I didn't think that would appeal to me, right? But it does. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure it is. Now, I have another question for you.
Yeah.
Um, Vantage places. I mean, how do you figure out what the best place is to place yourself to get the best shots? Because
Well,
that's pretty important.
that's the most important thing, right? You have to you got to walk around because the Walton. The one thing about Walton is you can get in the track and you can cover almost the whole track, at least from one viewpoint or another, and you have to go and look and say what kind of shot can you get with this. And I'd love to get a shot here, but there's a bulldozer back there, so I got to move one way or the other or walk away. And then, so yeah, it's kind of just walking around and seeing what you like, because there's many different spots, and you also have to. Uh, you want to use the term pre-visualize and say that's
Yeah.
good, but there's a guy sitting on a chair, but he's in a good spot that I can get rid of him later, right? I
Yeah.
can't make the guy move. He's there for safety, so he's not moving, right? So I can move a little bit this way and pan and make sure my pans are before it get to him, and that kind of stuff. And your mirrorless helps quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm sure.
As far as doing the pan shots and keeping an eye on things, um, much easier than a DSLR that blacks out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I was shooting most of that stuff was at 10 frames a second.
Okay. So my next question will be, is there kind of any kind of a guideline as to how close you can get to these people?
Up to the fence.
Okay.
There's a fence. Yeah, there's a fence, and kind of enter at your own risk, right?
Yeah.
You can get sprayed with a bit of mud sometimes, but for the most part, there's a fair bit of distance between you and the actual track. Some of those ones where they were coming straight across from right to left, they were at the wide end of my lens. I was at like 50 or 60 mil and panning with them there, and they were doing a pretty good job of filling most of the frame, right? So yeah, and the other thing is you got to know your gear, like you got to know your autofocus modes
Oh, yeah.
and sensor sizes, and you got to be willing to, like, okay, shoot some at this way, shoot some this way, shoot some this way, and then kind of evaluate when you get home, or if you have time to look and say this one's nailing it more than the other setting, right? Because you can have a single little spot in the middle, or you can have a mini spot. You can have one like this, or you can have a wide and narrow one, or so you just kind of have to pick. And there's 3D that'll jump around and grab somebody's eyeball while they all have helmets on. You got to kind of figure it out and play. And Canon again has a different way of doing it too, but you know that's a tricky part too. You gotta kind of play around and understand your equipment, so you're getting a reasonably high degree of in focus.
Yeah, I know that one of the things that's always a little bit of a challenge, especially when you're doing something like this. I know that I was shooting some horses, and the challenge is there. If the horse is coming towards you, that that the autofocus will follow it, and of course, if it's going laterally, it's not as important that the autofocus changes distance-wise, because the horse is at the same distance all the time. It's like when you're taking those photographs
Yeah.
where they're moving from
Mm-hmm.
right to left. So yeah, I find that by the time I change, because I don't do it often enough, but by the time I change my method of focusing, a lot has happened already.
Well, yeah. One thing good there, they start racing at 8 o'clock in the morning. We're not there till like 9:30, and they race all day till it's over. Which is, I think, last race was 2:45, and it just started drizzling. So I'm like, you know what? I've got enough motorcycle shots to last me. Time to go home. So we headed home and stopped in Hamilton for dinner. And
Yeah.
because from here it's 2 hours and about 20 minutes to get there if you don't stop. So um, it's a long ride, but we once a year I'm okay with it. I wouldn't do it every weekend or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun.
Okay.
Definitely interesting.
Whoa. What happened here?
What happened there, George?
No kidding.
Wow.
I got fuzzy.
Yeah.
Let's try that again. Still.
You're just as good as you
There
were
we go.
before.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, my
There you go.
my camera died for a second. Oh, I think I know why,
Hmm.
but it doesn't matter really. Okay, you said you had some other shots.
Yeah. Not sure what state they're in. Let me see if I can.
Okay. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is ask David. Do you have anything for us?
yeah, pretty boring to what you just seen, but I can show you some. Just bear with me. Sure. Right. Right. There's this one.
Okay,
Have you got that?
let me go there, David. There we go.
Right. This is a little village, uh, fishing village, and as you can see in the distance, it's actually called Dildo.
I
And
love that name.
and Jimmy Kimmel got hold of this about 5 years ago, and he's made quite a big thing about it, and it's brought in quite a lot of tourism,
I'm sure.
right? Quite a lot, but they've actually got their own brewery, which I can show you. Stop share.
Oh man, I can just see the jokes coming in people's heads.
No, yeah, yeah, we had quite a good time there. Um, so you got the Dildo Brewery, and there. So I've got the T-shirt now just to prove it.
Oh no.
Yeah, they do. They've even got they do a lot of canned beer, and one of them's actually called Jimmy Kimmel. So
Uh-huh.
I refrained from buying that. And then the other one,
Besides the T-shirt, did you pick up any other tourist paraphernalia?
no, nothing from there. Yeah, no. And this guy, he was they just brought in all these cod, and he was gutting and fillet them, and he could do it in like minute and a half. The thing was done, and then he chopped the head off, pull the guts out, throw that to the seagulls, and get the next one up. And then they just put it in salt water, the actual fillets. But the fish there is unbelievable. It really is good on that.
Yeah, I know. When I was in PEI, I came across a sailor who was sitting on his boat, and he w- he was having lunch, fresh oysters right out of the shell, just one after the other. Man, just eating away.
But managed to see the last iceberg.
Nice.
This was, yeah, it was fortunate. It was right, fairly close to us, but literally within 20 minutes of being there. I'll show you the next one. actually started to
Whoa, that's
turn
a nice
over.
one.
Yeah,
That
the
look,
whole thing.
yeah, that looks streamlined.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Well, that where you got the that straight part, that was actually in the water, so the whole thing is just turning over.
Huh.
And then,
I mean, with global warming and everything, are we going to be seeing less icebergs or more of them because
well,
they're
we were right at
breaking
the end of
off?
the season,
Yeah,
so yeah. Uh, I'll just show you a little favorite one. We were,
that's a
if
what
you can get in.
a puffin.
Puffin.
Yeah, there's two of them. Well, they once they mate, they stay together. But these two, we were walking around, and suddenly they just come from under the rock, and they were walking around our feet. It was unbelievable.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't make it any smaller.
I'm trying to.
He had no fear at all. Just
They aren't very big, are they?
no, that was about 10, 11 inches high.
Yeah.
But they're amazing creatures. We went out on a boat to hopefully see some whales, which we never saw. But the guy was saying these puffins, they swim down to 250 feet to get their food
Yeah, it's
underwater,
crazy.
which is quite amazing. They're not very good flyers. But, it seems they spend 4 months on the land and the rest of the time at sea.
Yeah, they're actually a pretty exotic looking bird.
Yeah, but there were literally thousands of them. There was an island opposite, and it was just covered in these puffins. Quite amazing.
Well, that's great. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. That's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, that's wild. Okay, now I guess that leaves Steve. I'm drawing on everybody tonight.
I got nothing this week, Jorj. Sorry.
No, no problem. I don't expect everybody to.
I've got some other stuff, Jorj, if you're
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm
I
always
got
anxious to see more. And, unfortunately, if we had more people here on the Zoom channel, then, we could show a lot more. But
yeah.
it's just not happening. I think that attendance may pick up once we hit September.
My buddy wanted to we had the Canadian National Water Ski Championship in Welland. There's a private pond out in Welland that runs a water ski club. It's a 2,500-foot long pond, and they have a jump. So this is the results of the jump. This is basically straight out of camera. Um, the landings were impressive. So this is the before kind of thing, and then you can cut in. Well, then you can cut in, and you guys are in the way again. And you can cut in and zoom on the landing. That's where you get the big splash. My thing is the water's a little funky looking. Some of them I just haven't gotten back to do, but that's the big thing is when they hit the water and they kick up the splash. We were
Wow.
just there for the jumping, and then they were kind of finished for the day. Another thing is there's another guy on the other side shooting for them, and he was in more pictures than I wanted.
That's quite a rooster
But yeah,
tail.
yeah, it's quite impressive. It's and it's they were 5 foot jump, 5 foot jump, and then the boat goes by, and that's what this is. If I back up one, that's what this is. The
Yeah.
boat goes by, and they're being pulled, and then they jump and turn around. There's a big like a loop at each end. This one I thought was cool, but the guy's not sharp. I missed it. But there you go. They all kind of they get three tries, and they kind of crash out. There's the tail end of the boat.
Huh.
This guy here was they call it an adaptive. an adaptive skier. He can't stand, so he's strapped into a chair.
Yeah.
His skis are like one giant ski, and his feet are strapped in. He was making the best splashes. He comes down, bang! He comes down, and his head goes forward, and so there you get a look at it there.
Yeah.
His feet are strapped in, and his skis are like one. Um, so when he come down and he hit, man, he made quite a nice splash, right? There's his head going down and everything, and you get this kind of curling
Yeah, that's got to
around. So
be
that was
hard on the body.
oh yeah, that's really like jarring, right? It was hurting me watching. So it was an interesting thing. My buddy went back the next day. I wasn't feeling well, so I didn't go back. He went back the next day and shot. They did the slalom.
Yeah.
And then he sent me some pictures, and it was fantastic because they lean right over. Like, these guys are good. They lean right over and they kick up a huge rooster tail. He had some beautiful shots. So it was pretty interesting. Shot some slow pitch. The Canadian National slow pitch competition was on last week. And 1,500 teams from all over Canada and the U.S. A lot from Quebec, a lot from down in the States. They come up, and they're playing at a park, a four diamond park. So I never shot slow pitch before. My buddy's like, let's go see if we can shoot slow pitch. Well, because of liability, you can see right here, that's the top of the fence. There's a 6.5 foot tall fence around the whole diamond. So you're shooting through the chain link. So now it becomes almost impossible to, like, you have to get the guy hitting on home plate, but if he hits it out there and a play goes and there's a good play on second base, you're not going to get it because you got to turn and get into a hole and make sure you're in the so it's totally different than, say, a major league park where the press are free to point wherever they want with no obstruction, right? Because the hole in the chain link is smaller than the end of your lens. So I did get some shots, but nothing dramatic. He's obviously tagging him out, but the ball's here, right? so he kind of missed.
Have you ever messed around with taking photographs through a fence of a distant object, but making the depth of field so shallow that you actually don't see the link?
Well, I've tried it. Like, one of the problems here too is it's gray, a bright gray, and it was pounding sunshine.
Oh, okay.
Right. So if it's in your frame, you think you're hiding it. You can't, because it's lit up nice and bright. So I was shooting like, what's this? I'm at 2.8 shooting through the chain link fence. Right. 70 to 200 was perfect sized lens, but it's just, and then there's the dust and everything else. This is first base. There's not a lot of action at first base besides this because it's a wider base and they don't slide in. The action's going to be at second, third, or home. Yeah, at least the ball kind of glows in the dark and stands out because everything else is kind of a different shade of dust. But you can see the fence all the way down, even to the very, very, very end. And then the referees, like, one guy had a post like this. One of them put their batting helmet on top, and they stopped the game until they took it off. So it wasn't like you could talk to somebody and maybe you could get up the side of the fence or inside or hold your camera up over the top. They would stop the game if you did that. So there's just no way to get a clear view. This is nice and clear, but I also, cropped out some stuff, right?
Right.
So,
okay. So
yeah, that was my weekend sports.
Yeah. Jeff was just asking, which camera and lens were you using? Jeff likes these. He likes to get technical, methinks.
Yeah, the if I used the 50 to 400, was too much lens, too much. But the 70 to 200 2.8 on the Z8 was really good. You can see up here, like I'm shooting 2.8, 70 mil, ISO 100, and I got a 2 thousandths of a second shutter speed. So you can almost count the stitches on the ball.
Right.
Um, yeah, but it's this fence, right? And the fence was just I hadn't my buddy, like, we were talking, because he was there the day before. He goes, "Oh, you realize there's a fence around the diamond?" The fence? He goes, "Yeah, there's a fence all the way around." And I go, "Oh, it's a liability for the city, right?
Yeah.
4 diamonds, and it's like giant baseball in a cage, right?"
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
it is what it is. I'm not thrilled with the images. Like, I didn't get anything I was really, really happy with. Um, but it is what it is.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
it was something to try. One of those, well, try it and see what happens, right? For $10, no big deal. Like, you had to pay $10 to get in. So okay, that's fine, whatever. But I wouldn't do it again next year.
No. No.
That's for sure.
Well,
Maybe on an overcast day, maybe give it a shot, but not on a
yeah.
sunny day. Wow.
I think that I don't know. Should take tin snips with you.
Yeah.
Wire cutters.
Should
At least
bride.
cut one link out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you only need to cut one little hole, and but you can't move to,
You
you
don't
can't
have,
go from home to second base,
yeah,
right?
unless you
You
stick your
just,
lens through.
yeah, and then the next thing is, okay, the play's going to be at second. Well, then it's obviously going to be at first and third, because you're looking at second,
Right.
right? And it's just your averages go so far down, it's not worth it, right? Where at least the motocross, there's a car going by every 3 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Well,
it is
Steve's
what
just
it is.
reminding us he wanted to know what camera. I think you mentioned the camera model and what lenses you were using for this.
That's for David. Yeah. Oh, you're muted, Dave. Dave's muted.
Um, it's a
There.
Z8 and it's a 24 to 400 lens Nikon.
Wow.
Okay.
But I use it mainly for landscape. Get some fantastic landscape photos from that.
That covers everything.
Hmm. Well, it's great for on vacation because I don't need to change lens. I just,
Yeah.
it's ideal.
Okay. Good. All right. Well, thanks, Steve, for reminding me of that. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're hitting the top of the hour now. And we did get a lot of good advice here and a lot of photographs to look at. These are all things that are pertinent to people who are starting out in photography as to how do they do this. I know that Jeff was asking about a tripod. I've never had any success in doing pan shots with a tripod because the arc is too narrow. It's just I can't get a good swing on it. But swinging from the waist, I've always found that I could get a good pan, and that was never a problem that way. It was problematic for me to use a tripod. Now I don't know if you have used a tripod and if you've had success with that, but I just haven't. I don't know, and I don't think that Scott has either.
No, and I have a bad back, so I can only be standing up twisting so long. So a lot of times I'll sit down on a tripod chair, the three-legged chairs, stools, and I'll go from there. And it's easier on my back, and I can still get a good shot, depending on where the fences are, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, I can do that. When I was at the triathlon that I showed earlier this summer, some pictures. I think I showed some panning bike pictures. I was sitting in the stool most of the time, moving, and that was much easier on my back. But it was, and my buddy sat down for a minute. Can I sit down and try it? Yeah, go ahead. And he goes, oh, this feels terrible. He goes, this isn't working. This is much harder. I go, I don't know. I'm happy with it. Can't do it the other way for too long.
Yeah.
So, yeah, teach their own. You find your own way, but it all depends on where the fence is, right? The board, if whether, especially wood fence where the slats are, and if you're seeing over people or over things, and that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, not on a tripod. It's very, very difficult. Even though they call the head that comes with it a pan head, that's for video.
Yeah.
Um, not for panning. And also the motorcycles are like fast.
Yeah.
Everything's fast that you're panning. And even if I go to the racetrack and pan, the horses are going pretty quick.
I've seen people have success using a monopod
Yeah.
with panning. I've never tried it, but I guess because it's easier to kind of pivot, right?
Well, it seems awkward too because you're not when you're panning, you're the pivot point. Your spine is the pivot point, right? Well, now you take it and you put it out here. So to pan, you're kind of doing this as
Yeah, it's
opposed to
weird.
turning like that, right? Um, yeah, I'm not sure how that would work. It doesn't to me it's not making sense. I've never tried it, but it's not making
It
sense.
yeah, it's kind of strange how you would
Yeah.
move. You almost have to use the screen on the back of the camera to
Yeah, I've seen people using it. Like I've seen people using it at different events and stuff on TV, but to me it's kind of locking you down too much.
yeah.
Right?
I personally hate monopods, but
They have their use. They have their use, but not as much as people think. Just to hold your lens up, it's much easier. Between you and gravity, it's kind of nice,
I
right?
think that using a monopod for panning is really problematic because you've only got one point down on the ground. And if you pan keeping that one point steady on the ground, then you're not just panning, you're also going in an arc with the camera. So in the very middle, you might be straight up and down, but as you go left or right, you go down in an arc with that monopod. So you
Because the
know,
whole thing is to keep
yeah,
even on the horizon, right?
exactly.
Because
yeah.
when people first start panning, they end up doing this. I'm exaggerating, of course, and like that, and it takes a bit of time to get into it, so you're going perfectly perpendicular and nice and horizontal level, with whatever the track is, as opposed to coming up on one end, because it'll really affect your image in the end if you're not flat, for sure. Yeah, the Z8 gang, absolutely.
I think you found a kindred soul there
Yeah.
with the Z8. I don't know, Steve. Do you have anything in the Z8 territory? No.
I'm a Canon guy.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that.
Hey. Yeah. Anyway, boys and girls, I think we'll call it a night. Everybody, thank you very much for attending. We won't prolong this tonight. But again, don't forget that on the 16th, we're going to have Anka here, 16th of September. I'm still looking. I've already solicited for some other people to come on, and it looks like a few of them might. Certainly, that'll be fantastic if they do. Let's see. Good. So, having said that, I'm always going to do the ask at the end. If you like what you saw here, please leave us a like because it really helps, and it also helps me knowing that you did like what you saw, and of course, subscribe, subscribe, and that'll help me too. Right now, I think I'm at around 268 subscriptions, and I'm yearning to get higher. and see what we can do. But with that said, I'm going to say good night to everybody. Again, thank you very much for attending, and thank you very much for your comments, because your contributions to this channel, to these videos, is very, very important, because we all learn from each other. And that's the whole purpose of this chat, as far as I'm concerned, because I'm really trying to invite as many of my students to this chat as possible. It's a learning experience for them, and they learn from you guys. So again, thank you very much, Jeff, Anka, Steve, Scott, Dave. Thanks a million for being here. Thank you. You bet. See you all next week. Have a good night.
Bye.
See you
Bye.
guys. Thanks, George.
Cheers.